Um, I haven't been doing too great recently, and I've shared a little bit about why it's part of my domestic violence story. And now that it's all finalized and so-called justice was served, um, I'm gonna talk about it. I'd first like to say thank you for everyone who supported me and the 550 odd people who signed my petition. Unfortunately, they didn't care, and yeah, things turned out badly for me and the other victims, but I really appreciate the support. And just like to say that, yeah, so my legal name was Sarah, but I've been going by Betty in my community for a few years now, and I'm officially, I don't want to be called Sarah anymore. There's only so many times someone can scream your name at you with just hate for you before it ruins the entire name. And I just can't. I get little flashbacks anytime anyone says it, and I hate it. I really do. And I'm not gonna cry talking about my name. Yes, so if you are one of the people who still calls me Sarah, please try and call me Betty. Thank you. The main thing I wanted to do was to read you my victim impact statement because my abuser's lawyer got about half of it redacted, even though it was approved beforehand and everything. I want to say that. I'm not going to say my truth because this is the truth. This is the only truth. He has no truth. He pled guilty but denied absolutely all of this and has denied even knowing me, even though he's been terrorizing me for 3 years, breached the AVO against me about 20 times before I stopped calling the police because they just weren't coming anymore and said they weren't going to come anymore because he just does this. But basically, you would probably know the start of what happened. I moved to my community about 3 years ago. I baked for everyone when I came in to introduce myself to all the neighbors, and that was apparently what started his obsession. I refused to go out with him, and that got him very, very mad, screaming my name all the time. He eventually held us all hostage by locking us in the gate, threatening to behead and castrate anyone who tried to leave, threatening to burn me alive. And then the next day when I leave my apartment, there's his cigarette butts all at my door, stalking me, following me, nearly hitting me with his bike all the time, just standing in the middle of the road, screaming and attacking cars. He attacked different buildings around us on top, which used to be Rodolfo's, the Macca's, and the judges have all basically said, yeah, he's done all this damage, these are the fines, but he can't pay it, so we'll just ignore it. Anyway, I was lucky enough to get an AVO, a restraining order, approved last year, after he attacked me with a golf club. And I got away. Only severe mental damage was done. And all of this, especially the past year and a half, has had a huge impact on my health. What little health I had has just been shat on. Using all of my money on, cardiologist appointments and new medication and trying to do therapy, but I have to keep cancelling appointments and not taking meds because I can't afford it. Anyway, for each breach of the AVO, he was meant to get 2 years. And like I said, he breached it about 20 times before I just stopped because I wasn't getting any help. Because basically the police disagreed with what the judges had said. And as part of the stalking part of the AVO, they said, I'm allowed to say his name now, apparently. Serkan. Serkan is his name. But they called him Steve in all of the court dates. But Serkan, he was meant to get 2 years. And he would stand on top of his balcony and scream how he was going to violently murder me and other people in the building. And as part of the AVO, stalking came under also deliberately inciting mental harm or intimidation. The police disagreed with this and said basically he's allowed to detail how he's going to murder you, screaming out your name. Only if he uses my full name will they do anything. Well, even when he did that full name, they didn't do anything. They actually said they didn't want to wake the baby and come and talk to him. He would scream AVO bitch all the time. And he'd get mad because I wouldn't wave at him in the car park if I was coming or going. And then he'd go on a tirade about how he's going to kill me because I'm the AVO bitch. Anyway, he eventually, so if all of those 20 charges would have been counted, it would be 40 years, but it wasn't. They only counted 2 of those charges, so that would be 4 years. Now, he was charged with 40 offences. Only 2 of those were against me. The others were arson, some property damage, assaulting emergency worker, which is 2 years in itself, I think. He pled guilty to get a reduced sentence. So the 4 years that he would have gotten for breaching the AVO and attacking me got shifted to be 6 months for both of them. So 3 months each. And for all the other offences as well, he got just over 2 years. So altogether, it was 2 years and 6 months. Just fucked. But he pled guilty, so he got that reduced time. So that's, that's fine. That felt like a little bit of a win. He was sent to jail, and that would be it. It wasn't as enough time as he deserved, but he was gone. I was starting to feel safe again. So was the community. And then last month, he appealed the sentence. He wanted the already reduced sentence to be further reduced. It is fucked. It's like you deliberately got it reduced. And anyway. So last week, was the decision. And from that 2.5 years, he got 10 months. So for the 4 years he would have gotten, well, really 40, to the 4 years he would have gotten for the 2 charges against me, he got 6 months. And then that 6 months against me was about 1 month out of the 10 months. And because he'd been held since December, and we're in September now, he's getting out in 4 weeks. He has not apologized, not even fake apologized. Which I don't know if it would have been better or worse, because he certainly would have mean it. There's only so many times you can threaten horrible mutilations and death in detail, and then be sorry. Deliberately targeting easily the weakest member of the apartment complex. Very visibly disabled. Bright pink person. Anyway. So I'm devastated, of course. I've been waiting for 2 years from Department of Housing to put in security cameras, but they didn't, and I can't afford it. So my friend lovingly bought me some, and already Sokan's friend has been over being dodgy, loitering around the complex, and so the cameras have caught that. Anyway, I want to read you my victim impact statement, if I can. This is all my court stuff. This is how thick it is. Because every time he put us in danger. There's reports, emails sending them to, and body corporate not doing anything, Department of Housing saying I'm victimizing him by him threatening to behead me and burn me alive. I'm victimizing him. This was originally my victim impact statement, these 2 pages. And everything in pink here, so this is just these sections cut and pasted on one piece of paper to make it easier. But all these bits in pink is what his lawyer wouldn't allow me to say. All of this. Like, it's fucking huge. And, this particular part of the victim impact statement, it's saying the impact of the crime. So they're talking about injuries, including mental health, any medical treatment, all that sort of stuff. And what she crossed out was saying that, you know, all this stress of all these assaults caused me to collapse and lose consciousness many times, and has caused tremors, seizures, affects my vision, digestion, and flares up my disability. She crossed that out. I'm not allowed to talk about my disability. You know, crossed out about him breaching the AVO, how his violence escalated because I wouldn't go on a date with him. So you can see my eye starts to go when I'm stressed. She wouldn't let me say I'm scared of my life. Scared for my life. Saying how he breached the AVO. That he doesn't want to stop. That I don't want to be a statistic. Saying how I have nightmares from what he put me through. I have insomnia when I do sleep. From him screaming, he's gonna fuck me up, AVO bitch. Talking about how my disability flares. All this shit. But I'm gonna read it anyway. The full thing. Not what she didn't want me to do. I might also include the pictures maybe, so you can see exactly how fucked these redactions were. And you know, all I can think is if the judge was allowed to hear this, maybe it would have made a difference. There was also this little written section I added that was approved, and I wasn't allowed to read it all either. But I'm going to read it. Sorry this is so long. This will be the end, I swear. Physically, Sokan tried to abuse me with a golf club. Tried to hit me while riding his bike, etc. But his hits never landed. Physically, it did affect my health, though, and my disabilities flared so often, causing me to collapse and lose consciousness many times. It's also caused tremors, seizures, affects my vision, my digestion, and flares up other aspects of my disability. It has also given me insomnia, which affects other aspects of my life. I've had to spend a lot of money on therapy and other specialist appointments, extra medications to help me get through the day. expenses in printing the dozens and dozens of documents in evidence for court. However, I'm too disabled to work, so technically I didn't lose any income, because that's what they were asking. Now, the real stuff, the chunky meat of the statement. Sorry, this is really hard for me. But I want people to hear it, even if it's one person out there. I want to be able to say that. And they said legally I am allowed, I can say his full name after this. You know, I can say everything. And it's not defamation because it's true. Anyway. My life has been changed because of the years of abuse I suffered from Serkan, my neighbor. I have PTSD. I still suffer daily flashbacks and insomnia. And when I do manage to sleep, I have nightmares, reliving every awful moment Serkan put me through. The almost daily threats, chasing me with a golf club, stalking me, following and waiting for me at the security gate, intimidating me and trying to hit me with his bike, screaming my name over and over, screaming, "I'm gonna fuck you up, AVO bitch," from the balcony, pretending to be Australia Post so I'll come outside my apartment, threatening to burn my apartment down and burn me alive, then leaving cigarette butts at my door. I jump and have panic attacks whenever cyclists get too close to me, when men are loud and yell, even if they're yelling in celebration or on the TV. It makes me lightheaded. My heart races. I sweat, I shake, and my disability flares, often leading to loss of consciousness, even though I know he's in jail and not waiting at my door to get me. I still rush past whenever I leave my apartment, which is hardly ever now. I often get bedbound from stress, trying to process the trauma he's put me through. The trauma also worsens my disability and leaves me bedbound. I have trouble concentrating or finding joy since Serkan's attacks. It's like he's stolen the only part of me that can feel joy or peace. I've become isolated. My friends and neighbors don't want to hear me talk about the trauma I've endured. I hate going out alone, thinking he'll be waiting for me, will stalk me again. A man catcalled me recently, and I immediately got flashbacks to when Serkan would yell at me, and I had a panic attack and burst into tears. Every time I see on the news that another woman has been attacked or killed by a man known to them, I spiral. My anxiety and disability flares, and I have to lie down, sometimes passing out. My cardiologist has had to change my medication to help me survive the day. After a recent pacemaker check, I've had to change the medication at a recent pacemaker checkup. I've had to save up for therapy, which is the only thing I almost look forward to because I don't want to be like this anymore. I don't want to be scared for my life every day. I've been living in fight or flight for years. I don't know why Serkan has such a vehement passion for making me suffer. I don't know why he hates me so much that he would detail how he would murder me every day, screaming from his balcony at me. I never did anything to warrant his hatred or obsession, certainly nothing to make him plan my murder over and over. I don't want to have to look over my shoulder whenever I check the mail, thinking Serkan will be out of his apartment and chase me with that golf club again. I don't want to have a panic attack every time a man raises his voice. The landlord, body corporate, Department of Housing, the Ombudsman, even the police could not protect me, after years of sending evidence and complaints of his violence. Not even the AVO stopped his violence against me. He broke the AVO over and over. He clearly did not want to stop and would not stop until he successfully murdered me, which is terrifying. The only thing that can stop his violence is the courts. I will never be the person I was before Serkan started targeting me years ago. My relationship with neighbors and men in general will never be the same. My life has changed for the worse, and one day I hope with the help of mental health professionals and my specialists that I can live a normal life without being in constant state of fight or flight from Serkan's violence. I doubt I was the first woman he's targeted, stalked, and plotted to murder, but I certainly want to be the last. My life has forever been changed by Sirkin, and I don't want any other person to suffer from his violence and hatred like I have. Society are already numb to men's violence against women, and I'm worried I'll become just another statistic. No one deserves to feel like that. I was told that Sirkin has drug-induced psychosis, but that does not excuse the obsession with causing harm to our community. I name our street, saying all our smaller community of, but I don't want to say where I live. It does not excuse Sirkin targeting the weakest person of our unit complex. Me, a disabled young woman living alone. He did that because he hates women and can simply not live alone. Sorry, fuck. Sorry. He did that because he hates women and simply cannot live around other people in normal society. His violence escalated when I went on a date. I don't know whether it was his hatred for me because I would not date him, or just ableism and thinking disabled people shouldn't date, but clearly it set him off onto a years-long vendetta against me, including verbal, mental, and physical abuse, including death threats happening nearly every day. What terrifies me the most is he won't change, and certainly won't even try. His violence and obsession can simply not be reformed. He cannot be set loose on society to either kill me or start a new obsession with some other innocent woman. He will make one of us a statistic. When Sirkin pled guilty to the abuse in order to get a reduced sentence a few months ago, I thought his attacks on me were finally over. But now that he's appealing the sentence to further reduce it and be held less accountable for his violence, it's clear he still wants to torture me. That's the only reason he's appealing. He knows he got lucky with the reduced sentence, but that wasn't good enough. He still wants to hurt me, and this is just another way he can do it. He knows only 2 of the dozens and dozens of times he breached the OVO I have against him were investigated by police and taken further. That each breach was meant to be 2 years in jail, but he got lucky and only was given 6 months for attacking me. He pled guilty to this, but wants to spend no time in jail for his violence against me and the community. He has not changed. He will not change. Less jail time will not help him or his terrified victims he's threatened to murder. He will make me or another innocent woman a statistic. Please don't let him. And they let him. They let him out. I got the call of the actual date. And all I can do is make sure the phone's charged, the security cameras are charged, and I lock the door. Not that that stopped him before. No wonder almost every 4 days a woman is killed in Australia by a man. And no wonder so many abuse victims, especially women, and especially disabled women, don't come forward. Because even if it gets to the police, and even if the police believe us, which most of the time they don't, it almost seems like it's not worth it, because the system is against us. But I know it is worth it. I've lost this battle, but won the war, I guess. I got the AVO, even if it meant nothing. And I learned of other crimes he committed, and so the fact that I went forward with what he did against me, and it's now on paper, means the next person he does it to, it will be on paper, and hopefully they actually do hold him accountable for it. or if something worse happens to me, it's been written down, it's been documented, and that's all I can do. So yeah, silver lining is it's fucked me up so bad. I have some songs. I'm actually trying to take my power back a little bit and release them in an EP. Probably gonna call it AVO Bitch. But it's been really hard to play them and sing them, so we'll see. And certainly can't, get them produced because I have no money. But I'm gonna do my best, and hopefully can encourage other victims to express themselves too. Thanks for watching. Sorry it was so long.